Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today. Thank you for joining us. Before we dive in, let me cover housekeeping details with you. We are recording this webinar and you will find it in your mailbox after the webinar. If you have any questions during the webinar, you are free to jot it down in the Q&A box there and we will address it. And we have a surprise for you. One of you will be the lucky winner of our OKR certification course, which is a giveaway costing rupees 41,000, absolutely free. But we have not forgotten the rest of you. The rest get a 25% off on our OKR certification program. You will get an email regarding the details right after the webinar. Profit.co is an enterprise class strategy execution SaaS platform based out of Silicon Valley, and it's anchored by one of the most powerful OKR management tool in the market today. Our solution gives a complete picture on how your business and people process are integrated. Our strategy module aligns your long-term vision with your team's day-to-day tasks with our task management module. And we will also help you achieve your goals aligned with the development and performance of your employees with our robust performance management platform and employee engagement module. Our tool is industry agnostic and can be used by big and small companies. We have 1,500 plus satisfied customers across the globe. Today's webinar's title is Driving Strategic Excellence and Operational Rhythm with OKRs. We all know that organizations must operate with precision and agility to achieve their strategic objectives. Aligning cross-functional teams, driving operational cadence, and executing strategic initiatives are critical to success. However, maintaining focus and alignment across an entire organization can be a challenge today. This is where the objectives and key results can be the game changer. OKRs, as they are popularly called, provide a powerful framework for setting ambitious goals, measuring your progress, and fostering transparency and accountability throughout an organization. In this insightful webinar today, we have Aparna Shankarraman, Head of Operations at Milestone Inc., a visionary digital marketing group, who will share her expertise in leveraging OKRs to drive operational excellence and strategic execution. Let me introduce Aparna Shankarraman, who's a seasoned professional with an impressive track record spanning 19 years across various industries. As Head of Operations Cross-Functional Milestone Inc., Aparna excels in executing the operational rhythm and the organizational strategy while spearheading various growth initiatives within the organization. Her expertise includes people leadership, collaborative problem solving, program management, backed by a robust foundation in finance, legal, audit, and quality management. Don't miss this opportunity to glean valuable insights from Aparna's wealth of expertise and her holistic approach as we progress down this webinar. So to start off this webinar, we have a question and answer session, which are the most popular questions our customers have with us. And we hope by having this question and answer session with Aparna, you can get insights and you can take away how you can manage your operational success within your organizations. Now, thank you, Aparna, for joining us today. We are very delighted that you've spared this time to be with us and help our audience as well. To kickstart, you can start off with your most favorite quote and what drives you to achieve what you have achieved today.
Yeah. So thank you, Nisha. Thank you, everyone. Excited to join you all today in this webinar and have a chance to share my expertise and experiences with you all, particularly on a topic as crucial as OKRs. So when it comes to quotes, I have a lot of quotes in my mind. I mostly have quotes pertaining to mindfulness, positivity, persistence, and all that. But one quote which I have in front of me is like on the career front, that is, I believe success is achieved by ordinary people with extraordinary determination. So yeah, this is the quote probably I keep motivating myself and I tell it to others so that everyone has that determination and persistence to move ahead and achieve whatever we want in life.
Really cool, that quote, and it's the need of the hour, especially within organizations, and I think with an OKR framework as well. Let's never forget that, being the
Yes.
central hero here. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's move on to some serious questions. Can you throw some insights into your role as the head of operations at Milestone Inc. and your responsibilities?
Okay. So as the head of operations at Milestone, my role is multifaceted. So I focus on driving operational excellence, fostering innovation, and ensuring that our operational endeavors are mapped to the shared organization vision. So what is critical as the operations head in my role is the cross-functional collaboration, which is essential to optimize efficiency, effectiveness, and alignment with our strategic objectives.
Very cool. Because that is one of the reasons many of our customers tell as the reason to adopt OKRs itself, actually.
Yes. Yes.
Let me leave that to you to elaborate further. How do you currently ensure alignment between your operational goals and Milestone's overall strategic objectives?
Okay, at Milestone, we emphasize a very structured approach to align departmental goals with the organization objectives. Unlike most organizations, we also follow a top-down approach. Our senior management kickstarts each year by establishing the strategic direction, which serves as the guiding light for all departments. Now, this approach mirrors the conventional organizational practices and it applies to all departments across. However, when it comes to operational goals, it offers a distinct perspective. So, what is it that sets operational goals and their alignment apart? Is the question. So, let me just walk you through. In operations department, the focus always revolves around operational excellence. And at Milestone, we adhere to a comprehensive five-step strategy, which encompasses strategic planning, resource optimization, process enhancement, quality assurance, and performance evaluation to drive operational excellence across. And we all know that operational excellence, it's a journey. It's not a destination that you achieve it and it ends there and then you come up with the next goal. It is something, it is, it's a continuous process which needs to be improved as it goes and it transcends specific department. That means this journey necessitates horizontal collaboration between departments and vertical alignment toward the organizational goals. So navigating this intricate structure involves breaking down departmental goals into specific and measurable KPIs and effectively leveraging OKRs so that we all achieve our goals at the end of the year. So in essence, I can say OKRs serve as a guiding framework, ensuring that our efforts are consistently propelled towards advancing Milestone's strategic objectives.
Wow, this is amazing because I think this is something that has been explained so clearly to people. I think they cannot forget this. They cannot unsee what they've seen, I think. Aparna, thank you so much for this insight because this puts a lot of things in perspective for people, especially about OKRs and how they align. So probably this is why it prompted Milestone Inc. to adopt OKRs as a goal setting and execution framework.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let me just give you a background on how this all started. So this will actually help us, align to our own businesses as well. So Milestone's growth journey led us to a transition from traditional tracking methods that we all followed, like spreadsheets, presentations, to a more dynamic approach as we embrace the SaaS model. This shift was prompted by the need to adapt to the evolving landscape of our industry and ensure that our strategies remained effective amidst expansion. But this, when you say transition, it also comes up with its own set of challenges, right? So we also had those set of challenges, and the two primary challenges were on the forefront, which we had to address immediately. The first one was the expansion brought forth a multitude of tasks and projects, making prioritization a daunting task. There was often a disconnect between completed tasks and the organizational goals, highlighting the necessity for a more effective prioritization strategy. One was they couldn't prioritize which was important, and sometimes what was completed might not be very crucial from an organizational goal point of view. And the second concern was the department-centric approach that we used to follow earlier for goal setting led to siloed efforts and a lack of alignment across teams. So for instance, one department, let me say the marketing department, would present their ideas and projects to the executive team with detailed roadmaps for each quarter, including dependencies that they had on other teams. However, this alignment often faltered during execution. So it was hindering communication, and finally, sometimes it impeded the seamless execution of the organizational goals. So recognizing the need for substantial change and to keep up with the market needs, we turn to objectives and key results, that is the OKRs as a solution. Basically, this OKRs provides the framework. This was the framework which provided us with a structured approach to setting ambitious yet achievable objectives, fostering alignment among teams, and nurturing a culture of ownership and accountability.
Perfect, Aparna. I think no one could have described the challenge and how you went about choosing OKRs to solve that more perfectly than this, I think. I've, it's amazing that you can explain it so clearly for us. Thank you for that. And what strategies did you employ to ensure cross-functional alignment and collaboration within the teams?
Okay, when we say cross-functional alignment and collaboration, that is a primary priority for us, especially the operations department and for the organization as a whole. So, and so what happened is that particularly in the dynamic landscape shaped by tech advancements and adoption of the agile framework that we have all done in the industry, it is even more, at the forefront of our endeavors that we need to have cross-functional alignment and collaboration to move ahead and make a mark and be a leader in the market space. But in 2023, though we were having this cross-functional alignment, we were going about with OKRs. In 2023, we intensified our focus on this front by harnessing the systematic strategy module of OKRs. We were earlier following the usual OKR model where there was an organization goal, and then every department would come and define their objectives, and the KRs would flow down based on that. The cross-functional alignment was taking a bit backseat, though we were ensuring it. But this strategy module was a bit more structured than our usual OKR model, guiding us through a comprehensive process from defining company directives and focus areas to delineating initiatives, setting milestones, and establishing OKRs and KPIs. So let me walk you briefly through the slide so that we can visualize the path. So initially, senior management sets the tone by articulating company directives and focus areas, offering a clear organizational direction. So in Milestone's case, we had 4 basic directives. We wanted to build our products, we wanted to grow, had to retain customers, and we had to scale. And each directive we bifurcated each directive into 2 focus areas each. So that means at the beginning of the year, we had 4 directives and we had 8 focus areas. Further down, it was drilled down to each initiative, where each initiative was a cross-functional initiative. So we identified initiatives aligned with these focal points and established milestones to chart our progress. Saying when we say milestones, it is like what do we achieve in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and so on, which would help us achieve this initiative. It was a roadmap for that in cross-functional initiative. So this necessitated collaboration between departments to fulfill that initiative. Then the next step was the usual OKR progress, where departments, they had specific action items, what they needed to do to achieve this initiative. So they would go down to their departments, delineate specific key results for their objectives. So the impact of adopting this module was we could visualize the overall, or rather the collective progress of each project at a point of time, that thereby aggregating it to the focus area and directive level. So the goals were top down, and then the progress we could view from bottom up. So the top always directive could tell us where we are at the moment in the progress of this directive, basically. So this cohesive approach actually ensured that departments' efforts are synchronized and they contribute effectively to our organization goals.
This is very, 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 very good roadmap. I think people will take a leaf out of this and use this for their own roadmaps, I think, because this has a method to the madness, I would say. And from a person in operations, I know that you need the process in place, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Data and
Yeah.
process are the key to our functioning. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see it totally working from that direction. Perfect. How do you track and measure progress towards these key results?
Yeah, once we have this OKRs, it is just, a part of the, a tip of the iceberg, right? So execution comes the next part. And the final part is not the final part. The third part is basically tracking and measuring progress towards the key results. And it is a crucial part of the operational strategy. So we at Milestone, we employ a systematic approach to ensure alignment, accountability, and effective execution throughout the organization. And as I said, it is a bottom-up approach when it comes to tracking results. So we have 4-step strategy. So the first one is they are the weekly check-ins where each team member updates the progress against the goal in their OKR tool. In our case, we keep it as Friday check-ins. So every Friday, every team member goes and updates the progress that they have made with the notes and supporting documents in the OKR tool. This progress is then reviewed at regular meetings so that challenges, if any, can be addressed on the spot. This also helps us to stay agile and address issues promptly. The second one is are the monthly meetings at the departmental level where key results are presented to head of departments. This provides us an opportunity for cross-functional alignment and ensures that everyone is moving in the same direction. Additionally, we also conduct mid-quarter and quarterly reviews with our executive team. So we have a set template wherein every department presents what are they doing, how are they trending against the goals, what are the gaps, what is the help needed from other departments, and the next steps. So these are the 5 parameters which which are part of the template and which they need to share during their mid-quarter and quarterly reviews. And these reviews actually serve as critical touch points for course correction and strategic adjustments. And finally, the importance is of taking time to reflect and reset. So that is very important from OKR point of view. So we dedicate our half-yearly intervals for comprehensive evaluations, allowing us to recalibrate our strategies and realign our efforts as needed. So this 4-step structured approach ensures that we remain focused on our objectives, adapt to changing circumstances, and ultimately drive sustainable growth and success for Milestone.
That is very good. And you have covered all the types of tracking and measuring progress that one can think of in an organization. And thank you for explaining that very well. Have you noticed any changes in employee engagement and accountability since you've adopted OKRs?
Absolutely. Actually, when it comes to employee engagement and accountability, it is a very, very big factor because that is the reason for that department, companies adopt OKR methodology and, they define all the goals and all that. So Milestone and our founder, we always believe that we can have effective engagement if we convey the why factor to the employees. So we always start with why. Every meeting offers any new adventure, initiative, any new project, we start with the why factor. So we are of the opinion that if we convey the why factor and the employees are convinced on why they need to do something, the related factors of what, when, and how will automatically fall into place. So the beginning of the year, we have strategic meetings where all employees come together. We have it in India, we have in US. We have those strategic meetings as a very, very major part of our, yearly event. So we actually come up with these directives, company focus areas, and we convey why we need to achieve them and what is the benefit that the company would go, what is the path forward for the company once we achieve these goals. So, this transparency has empowered employees by giving them a better understanding on how their individual contributions directly impact the overall success of the organization. And from an organization point of view, we benefit from an early buy-in from employees, thereby enhancing the ownership factor. So this ownership naturally translates into increased accountability as individuals strive to meet the targets that they have helped to set, because they have set the targets, they have agreed to it, they work, to with total dedication to to achieve those targets. So overall, I can say the adoption of OKRs has led to higher levels of employee engagement and accountability within Milestone, and ultimately driving greater productivity and success across the board.
Wow, that's an amazing end result for a OKR, success story.
Yeah.
Like, have you measured this productivity or this any type of productivities? Have you measured it at any point since you mentioned productivity increase?
Productivity in the sense of from the employee point of view or the organization?
Organizational point of view?
Okay, yeah. So, yes, we have certain metrics, So, see, first metric is, do you achieve your goals, right? But then there
Yes.
are every OKR that we have has two parts to it. One is the quality metric and the productivity metric. So when we say quality metric, we always, every department says this is the OKR and they have to come up with quality and productivity metrics. When we say quality KPI, we say, what do we want to achieve? The end goal, saying, I want to retain so many customers. And how do you want to achieve are the metrics and the frequency by which you want to track it so that your quality metric is achieved. So this is are a prerequisite for OKR metrics. So there are basically 5 types of metrics that we utilize and for to track the operational success. And these metrics encompass various phases of our operational business operations. Uh, there might be several other which we might be doing, but we can categorize them into 5 basic categories. That is, first is the financial performance metrics, such as we calculate our growth, churn, profit margins, ROIs, return on investments, which provides an insight into the financial health and profitability of our operations. And then we have the customer satisfaction metrics, which includes the NPS, that is the Net Promoter Score, CSAT, customer feedback surveys, retention rates, and all that, which help us, even the product adoption metrics, which help us gauge the satisfaction levels of our customers and identify areas for improvement in our products or services. The third is my own department's operational efficiency metrics, which includes project timelines, variance analysis, which again has schedule variance, effort variance, and all that. And then the resource utilization and the cycle times, which allow us to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of our internal processes and workflows. The fourth metric would be the quality metric, where we focus on the defect rates, the support tickets which are raised, how many bugs or defects have been raised, what are the error, what is the product or service reliability. All these help us monitor the quality of our deliverables and identify opportunities for enhancement from within. And the fifth one is basically the employee performance metrics, which includes the, as I talked about in my previous, previous response, saying how do we motivate employees, right? So we
Yes.
have monthly employee engagement scores. We send out pulse surveys to them, and then we have our turnover rates. What are the productivity metrics? And all these actually help us understand the performance and satisfaction level of our employees, plus our OKR progress metrics, which I spoke earlier. So these metrics have been, highly, very helpful in providing us insights into our operational performance.
Very nice that you have mapped everything like this in a cohesive manner so that you know where you're going at the end of
Yes.
the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
What role does the leadership play in fostering an effective OKR culture? Because that's very important to the
Yeah.
success of an OKR program.
Yes, absolutely. Unless it is leadership is on the management is, pro OKR, the entire thing would have just collapsed. So leadership is definitely paramount in cultivating a thriving OKR culture within the organization. And at Milestone, this commitment is ingrained in our daily operations. I think you would have guessed it by now how systematically we work on OKRs. And we can even lightheartedly, I can even say at Milestone, we not only breathe, but also speak OKRs. So every meeting, kicks off with a review of the OKR progress. We start with our company goals, department goals, and how are we faring against them, and then we go to the other things. So this is how we have this OKR as part of our culture, and this dedication from our leadership actually sets the tone for the entire team, ensuring that objectives and key results remain at the forefront of our collective efforts. So in Milestone, I can say that leaders actually champion the adoption of OKRs and clearly communicate their significance and benefits to the entire team. So by actively endorsing OKRs, they set the tone for the organization and demonstrate their commitment to this process. So this implies that we have all the necessary support, infrastructure, resources for the teams to successfully implement OKRs. They listen to the gaps, they offer guidance on setting meaningful objectives and key results. And the best part is they facilitate training and coaching to ensure that everyone understands the methodology and their role within it. That means everyone speaks the same language on how we approach OKRs within the organization. And the best part is when leaders, they acknowledge and reward progress. Almost all our quarterly awards and all that, all of them are based on how much cross-functional collaboration have we achieved, which is a very important part of our OKR. So they reinforce the importance of OKRs and motivate teams to continue striving for excellence. So ultimately, I can say we have been a witness to the fact that effective leadership is essential for creating an environment where OKRs can thrive and drive alignment, focus, and results throughout the organization.
This is very good because especially you're mentioning OKR coaching and training, very essential to put the culture in place and to make everyone, be aware of what they are in for and what it means to be successful within the OKR culture.
Absolutely. And every quarter beginning, we do have this special OKR training for all employees across, so that it's a refresher as well as, something new that anyone can, any new employee joins, they also get to know anything, plus existing employees get refreshed on what they need to do. So
I can see how this is a part of your DNA now as Milestone. Yeah. So I think you answered a little bit of this part of this next question, but however, I want to still specify on this. That's why I want to ask this question again. What metrics do you currently utilize to track operational success at Milestone, and how can OKRs complement this measurement?
Okay, so I told you those 5 metrics, which we are the core of our, every exec meeting. That is a financial performance, customer satisfaction metrics, operational efficiency, quality, and employee performance, right? So all these metrics are the core of our presentations to the exec team. But and we actually this is while these metrics have been valuable in providing us insights into the operational performance, there is always a need for a more structured and goal oriented approach to drive continuous improvement and alignment with the strategic objectives, because these are just KPIs which are the productive KPIs which help us achieve the quality KPIs, and then the OKRs and initiatives. It's a long way up. So unless that structured approach is there, this is probably not a very meaningful exercise. So this is where OKRs can complement our existing measurements or metrics. So OKRs actually offer, as I said, we all know OKRs are a framework that help us setting smart goals, that is specific, measurable, achievable, all those things that we all know, which are the base of OKRs. And they help us defining the key results that will indicate the progress towards these objectives. So basically, this has these OKRs, and the combination of OKRs and these metrics, I can say, helped us, achieve alignment with the strategic goals. And then it helps us focus and prioritize our efforts on the most critical areas that drove meaningful impact. And then we ensure that our resources and tools are, allocated effectively across, and there's no overutilization or underutilization at different places. And then the third part was the accountability and transparency. So this was a major thing which ensured that we have ownership and responsibility at all levels of the organization, leading to increased motivation and commitment. And then the fourth final thing was, it facilitates, OKRs actually facilitate a cycle of continuous improvement by regular reviews, adjustments based on performance, and so on. So by tracking those key results, reassessing our objectives, we can adapt to the changing circumstances and stay agile in our pursuit for operational excellence. So yeah, a summary, if I, in a nutshell, probably these current metrics do provide insights, but OKRs are a complementary framework for a more structured approach, and which helps us to drive meaningful impact and success for the organization.
Very insightful, actually, especially when you said, you realign your performance based on the learning you get from the OKR continuous cycle. My next question is regarding that. How do you integrate OKRs with performance management or goal setting frameworks?
Okay, so there are two parts to it. One is the performance management and the other one is the goal setting framework. So at Milestone, we integrate with both. So integrating OKRs, with both performance management and goal setting framework is crucial for ensuring alignment and maximizing the effectiveness. So at Milestone, we have implemented a seamless integration process to ensure that the overall performance management, overall performance is enhanced. So there are two parts to this integration. As I told you, one is to track progress against the goals, that is the goal setting framework, and the other is to track employee performance. So when it comes to goal setting framework, we have integrated our OKRs with our project management tools like Rike and the Azure DevOps board used by the engineering and product team. So this integration ensures that any progress made in those tools against the projects or against the engineering boards that they have created is automatically reflected within our OKR tool tracking system. And the second part is the performance management system, which also heavily relies on the OKR progress. So we evaluate employee performance based on the individual OKR achievements, team progress, and the cross-functional alignment that they have achieved. So our review and feedback processes are directly tied to those metrics that we have, employed for tracking OKRs. That this helps us to ensure, fairness and transparency in assessments. It's not an opinion-based, performance management that we follow. It is based on the data and, and the 360-degree feedback that we receive. So these are the two things by which we track our performance management and integrate it with the OKRs. So this helped us actually create a unified approach to goal setting, evaluation, drive transparency, and alignment across the organization.
Yeah, one of the red flags always with performance management is it is based on somebody's opinion, right? So if it is data driven from this, half your headaches are over, actually.
Yes, the employee themselves come and say, this is what I have achieved, this is in front of them. There is no ambiguity. The self-assessment itself gives what is the manager's assessment as well. So and we have frequent feedback programs also. So that helps with performance improvement programs and all that. So it is actually a total, all are in sync at the end of the day.
And all are happy.
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing like at the end of the year or the beginning of the appraisal period, we have heavy list of sad faces or, broken faces. You know what is in store and what is coming up. So everything is synced.
Perfect. Yeah. Finally, we come to our pre-planned question session. We have a couple of questions from our audience as well. We'll address that after we do this last question. What advice would you be giving to organizations looking to implement OKRs for operational excellence?
Okay, for organizations looking to implement OKRs for operational excellence, I would say always have clear alignment with the strategic objectives. This definitely ensures that the operational goals contribute to the long-term success. And then when you say looking to implement, if it is a first time starter, I would say start small, implement as a pilot project in few departments to test the effectiveness, learn from the gaps, and then go on gradually scaling the implementation across the organization. Then we definitely need measurable key results. That is a, core of OKR. They need to be specific, actionable, measurable, relevant, and time bound. That is a SMART icon, which we say. And then cross-functional collaboration, which is really very important in today's dynamic changing business scenarios. They help to break silos, help us have a unified approach. There is no department saying, I have done, but ultimately the organization doesn't achieve the goal. That scenario can never arise if we persist on our cross-functional collaboration. And finally, the regular monitoring and adaptation of our OKRs. Track regularly, monitor, review, reflect, and then change your course based on what has happened, so that the goal is at the end of the year we achieve. So, and finally, everyone needs to be trained and supported. That is from an organization point of view. If they are, as an organization, if you're doing it, training and support is very critical. So I would say these are the points that are coming to me instantly. Yeah, these are probably, by following these, we can leverage OKRs to drive operational excellence, enhance performance, and achieve the organization's strategic objectives.
Yes, that's a perfect answer. And let's go and tackle these questions we have before us.
Yeah.
We have one from Kalyan. Who would be involved in defining the focus areas for each strategic direction?
Focus areas and directives are by the top management, always. So, when I say build was the directive, we had two focus areas. This was the ARR, or annual recurring revenue, that we needed from the build, and how many on-schedule releases that we had. So, these are defined only by the top management. So even initiatives are defined by what do you call the HODs. They come together and then they define initiatives, and then it flows down. When it comes to OKRs, it flows down to manager and other levels.
Yeah. I hope Kalyan is happy with the answer. I may have missed this. This is the next question. I may have missed this, but how do you measure the level of cross-functional collaboration?
So that's what this strategy module of OKRs definitely help us. Saying, when I say initiative, it is a cross-functional initiative. And when the initiative is defined, we also have milestones and the departments which contribute to those initiatives. So when I say Q1, what are the departments? What is the role of each department in contributing to this initiative? That is clearly laid out in the OKR tool. And then every department whose role has been laid out, they create their department objectives and link this OKR to that milestone. So in a way, your OKR is linked to the initiative and milestones. So that means when you track your progress against your OKR, the aggregate progress of all the departments would start getting reflected in that initiative. That means the cross-functional projects that you have specifically chosen, you will know if you're at 51%, 54%, and what is, then you can go ahead in your meetings and analyze the gap, or, are we on track or something. So this linking of OKRs and milestone will help you assess the level of cross-functional collaboration.
Yeah, that's true. So we have another question from Manoj Kumar. Can we also track an employee journey in the organization? For example, like when he joined the organization, what role, position will he get when he gets awarded recognition, when he gets promoted? Basically, wants to know whether that can be tracked as well, an employee's journey within the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that is a prime role of HR. They always have that as their, prime tracking tool. That history of when the person joined board, when were they promoted, or when did they transition to the other department, and the awards that they received. Everything is actually, in our case, we have them in our tool. So once you open an employee portfolio, you will definitely get to know the entire history of how the employee performed, what were the previous reviews, performance reviews that they had, how much of the OKR progress that they had made, And the feedback cycle is automatically embedded because the performance management tool is also part of our OKR tool. So yes, absolutely, you can track the entire customer journey as well as your organizational goal journey through the tool.
So that's a good answer, because when you integrate performance management with OKRs, this is the end result.
Benefit. Yes, yes, absolutely.
So we have a question from Elias. How do you measure OKR at individual and team level?
So I just said OKR at individual and team level. So see, the OKRs at a department level is first defined, which are then first initially aligned to the milestones. Then the manager of that department assigns OKRs or KPIs to the specific teams within the department. Say if I say probably an engineering department, I'll have several products within the engineering department. So the main, there would be a main OKR, and then these would be assigned to different managers within the team, and they would in turn, assign it to the below the level. So every employee starting from the ground level to the top level is governed and managed by OKRs. So that means only if the ground level person, individual member tracks the progress in the OKR tool, that it can, drill up and come to the higher level. So at team level, you will be able to see the progress that your team has made for that specific OKR. So every level has a dashboard by which you can track. Manager can view his dashboard and say, this is how my team is trending. And then the head of the department sees the overall, 360-degree view of how all the teams within the department are functioning. So that's how it's basically the tracking that we have within the OKR tool that makes the difference.
Thank you. We'll go to the next question. Rupa wants to know, do potential skill sets also or also added to the assessment?
When I say potential skill set, it is part of the performance management thing that we have. We actually at Milestone, we have specific questions grained for the self-assessment of employees. And we also, have when the manager's review comes up, we also have specific questions on the skill sets. And there is a marker or a tracker which helps us saying these are skill sets required for this. We have actually a big document on career pathing and all that at Milestone. So that is embedded into our OKR tool as well as a part of the performance management. So every performance appraisal, actually we are going through our appraisals now. So every appraisal, they do say, this is the potential skill set and this is what I have achieved. So that is actually, that comes up. They say, what could you have achieved more is one of the questions. So we come up and say, this is what I think, this is my potential skill set, and this is what I can be better or do this at the next, in the forthcoming year. So yes, this is added, it is a part of assessment.
Okay. So we have another question from Chavi. She wants to know, can you please explain roof shot and moonshot OKRs with scenarios?
I do not know what is roof shot. I'm sorry about that. I do not know what is roof shot and moonshot OKRs. So
maybe like, if you aim for the stars and you reach the treetops kind of thing. So moonshot is like, beyond reach,
the
and
organization
roof shot.
objectives. Moon stars can be the organization objectives, and the roof shot could be the, those initiatives and OKRs which are defined by the departments. Yeah, that is what I can derive literally from these coined
Actual words.
Yeah.
I hope Chavi is satisfied
But
with
we
that
can get
answer.
back to you looking up. But yeah, we don't follow it, so I've never heard of these terminologies also.
So we do say OKRs have moonshot objectives. We have, that is, you shoot for the moon kind of
Yeah.
Analogy, that is.
That is
But
stretchable objectives, is it?
yes,
Stretch goals.
stretch goals. Yes, stretch
Yes.
goals.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that means yeah, every organization, when I said we had to, retain customers, one of our goals was, gross renewal rate of around 94 or 95%. That means the entire year churn could only be 4 or 5%, and which is very, very, a stretch goal to achieve. It's very difficult when you say only 4 or 5% of churn in a year. So, that was a moonshot, and we did achieve because, we had those milestones set up saying how do you do it? You had those customer who is in green could churn. You had your regular weekly health meetings within the organization where all head of departments would come. They would say, okay, when they say this customer is red because of this issue, and those cross-functional teams would pitch in, and within 2 or 3 days, we used to report the progress on this is what we have done. They used to go and meet the customer. So, I think these roof shots would be those small productive, this thing, and which would help us achieve the moonshot OKRs, if I have
Yeah.
to say it from my scenario.
Yeah, true. That's a good example actually for moonshot, because it is a stretch goal and it's a success story from there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. We have a question from Afsal. Just out of interest, who is involved in the strategic planning process?
The top management, absolutely. The top management consisting of, yeah, in our case, it is basically our CEO, head of finance. They all come together, they discuss, and they come up with the primary goals. And generally, those directives remain same for focus areas, remain almost same unless there is a huge change in the business scenario. So last year also we had our 4 same directives and those focus areas. This year also we have continued with those directives and focus areas. What changes are the initiatives which will help us achieve those focus areas, because they change based on the scenario. Our projects and our attention, our focus changes based on the changing business needs and all that. So that changes, but the organization's directive and focus areas, mostly they remain the same because they are core to our growth.
What measurable improvement have you observed in your productivity since implementing OKRs within your workflow? Like a number, I think they are wanting.
Yeah, I told you, right? I think last year's after we started the strategy module, in your productivity, since is it the productivity part or as an organization? Productivity, see, we know we know what we need to achieve. See, so that is, that transparency is already there within you, and what is the time frame for you to achieve. So automatically, when I see, I might be non-productive or that the efficient or effective to my 100% capacity if I'm not clear about my roles and responsibilities. Once I know this is what I need to do by the end of this week or by the end of this month, I will put all my efforts to do it, and then probably even rest, saying yes, I have accomplished it. Going overboard is something we do out of our own passion. But I know for my organization, this is what matters the most. So automatically the productivity improves because you're being tracked every week. You are responsible, you're accountable to give why you haven't been able to achieve it. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that's true. So Surendra has a question here. How will you manage the employee development plan along with the OKR? I'm in a bit of confusion here. Yes, it.
Okay. So see, there are 3 things linked to it. So first thing is the OKR, which we set as an organization. And based on the OKRs, we have individual development plans, which we set in our OKR tool. We have a module which says employee development plan, which we say based on OKRs, and we do it every quarter. We say, okay, this employee is performing good, but these are the areas which could help that employee, excel in his career pathing, which could, we don't limit it to the end of the year appraisal. After every quarter we add those. As a manager, I'm supposed to add the employee development plan for my employees. That doesn't mean they don't perform well. It is something which, if they have it as part of their skill set, it would help them grow in their career. So, and then that is automatically linked to the performance management tool, which is, again, a part of how do you, those are quarterly reviews and yearly appraisals that happen. So when performance management is linked to how much OKRs have you achieved the goals set for you in your individual development plan. So these are all actually interconnected. And next year, when you come for your appraisal, we know what was the past review, what are the goals that we gave you, have you achieved those OKRs, have you done the cross-functional collaboration? And again, it's a cycle that goes. So yeah, that's how employees also get to, go ahead and progress in their career path.
So we have another question from Afzal. Do you set company-wide OKRs in respect of the focus areas?
Yeah. It's a company-wide OKR, right? When I say you have to, you need to have a gross renewal rate of 95%. So that means the entire, all the organizations will have to come together to achieve this goal. It cannot just be a customer success team or, a product team which ensures that customers don't churn. It has to be the marketing department has to be there, in product department has to be there. We have our own front-end development team. We have a content management. So there are so many departments which, the solutions department. So every department comes together to ensure that focus areas are achieved. So these are all company-wide OKRs. It's not department specific.
Okay. So Rupa wants to know, do we have a set of guidelines or examples already set to guide on setting individual or department OKRs?
Yeah, I think every OKR tool has their own, resource or help section, which gives details of how to set OKRs and, the best practices to set OKRs and all that. So you can access them, and Google has got is an ocean where you just type this and you'll get. But then the best advisors would be our OKR tool vendor who, they have this because that is based on experience. So when you access their resource part, where help topics, that definitely helps us set the right OKRs and refine them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. How do you minimize biases in OKR review, or do you identify any biases while setting or reviewing OKRs?
So when it is a top-down approach, there cannot be bias. It is all organization-based. What does my organization want to achieve? OKR review, see, you are yourself tracking your progress. How can there be a bias? The first, I am tracking my progress. I am saying this is, and I have my supporting document saying this is what I have achieved. Every tracking has a notes section and a supporting document. So every employee does go and, add their respective notes and whatever it is applicable for their specific OKR there. So see, 1 or 2% you can never rule out because there's a human tendency involved. But if you go by the structure and, the framework that OKR gives us, then there cannot be bias. At least in my organization, I can say there is no bias because it is all focused on the organization goal. We are all, it's an open communication that we have. And so there is no scope for bias. And even if feel I'm biased, I go voice out my concern to my manager and they do come and tell us why it is so. So when there is a why factor, my founder always say, go and read the Simon Sinek's book on why. So that why factor definitely doesn't allow any bias to come into the picture.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. That's a very insightful book, by the way.
Yeah.
You should read it. Yeah. So Kalyan wants to know, there would be employees who are involved in strategic initiatives and yearly operational activities, and others who are only involved in yearly operational activities. How do you balance the performance and recognition between these two sets?
Again, as I said, this is a cycle. It cannot be two different things, right?
Yeah.
When I say transparency, even the top management HOD comes and shows the entire 360-degree view to the entire team or department. And during our annual, meetings with the CEO and all, they open up their performance thing to the entire organization. There's nothing like, there's something secret that something has happened in strategic level and down the employees do not know. There's nothing like that. So this OKR is actually an open platform, which, where there is total transparency. So when it comes to balanced performance is not one-sided. It has to be, it flows from bottom to top, and when I say objectives flow top to bottom and performance, goes from bottom to top so that the organization achieves its goal. And recognition is something, the reward and recognition part is something every organization defines, differently. So, even when I say we have so many records like extra miler, who made a difference, and all those, there are different sets of rewards for cross-functional alignment within our organization. And these are not just limited to down the level or, people who are involved in operational or the strategy. It is given across. I got an extra miler award last year, and probably my colleagues also got. So it is your the manager who gives those awards. So there is no bias or, there is no balancing. It is who performs well gets a reward, right? And it's based on metrics. There is nothing like now, no one needs to use their opinion. There's no opinion based thing. And every reward goes through a strategy, a rigor of panel selections. So again, there is nothing like I don't like that person, even if that has been nominated, I don't give. That is not there. So yeah, so it goes through that.
I think to a large extent, OKR helps us,
Absolutely.
heave a sigh of relief because you don't have to rely on anything ambiguous. It's all there.
Yes.
Data is there. Progress is there. Everything is tracked.
Yeah,
And
and they themselves do that, track that progress.
yeah,
So I don't have to tell you. You are yourself coming and telling me what has been done. So yeah,
yeah. So Bilal wants to know, are there any limitations on the number of users? So,
that is basically the tool prerogative. I think that's based on the contract that we take, right? What is the number of users and all that based on the strength of the organization and all that. So I can't answer that question. That will be probably the profit team which can
yeah,
answer.
yeah. Based on the license, any number of
Yeah,
users can be added to it. That's the answer
yeah,
to
yeah.
that. So there's another profit question, I think. So Mohammed wants to know, based on your experience, what famous OKR tool available across do you recommend?
We lived and breathed only profit.co. It has
Yeah,
actually helped us a lot. We started with that initial OKR thing when we started from spreadsheets. We started with the department OKRs. We started tracking. Then we learned, we reviewed, we learned, we progressed. We came to this strategy module, has taken us a long journey. When we realized this is how, OKRs can be tracked effectively, this puts away all those ambiguities and concerns that were there in our this thing. So definitely yes, we use profit for our day to day. It is always open on in my background. So yes, that definitely I would we always recommend profit.co actually.
thank you, Aparna, for that. Thank you. Cheers to that. Chavi has a last question, and with that, we'll wrap up. Setting up OKRs is a big change management. Sometimes employees feel it as a micromanagement. How do you deal with such situations?
It's ideally not micromanagement at any point. See, micromanagement would be if I tell you how to do it. What to do is not a micromanage because that is expected from that is part of our roles and responsibilities, that is expected from the position that we handle. So OKRs tell us what to do, how to, probably then the metrics are also defined by taking the entire team into picture, saying these are the metrics, these are all but getting into when you're doing it and getting into no, you shouldn't do this is micromanagement. But you're yourself saying what have you done, you are measuring your progress and updating it. I do not think it is any case of micromanagement. uh it's actually change management. Things depend on the way we look at it. The glass is either half full or half empty. So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it is not the case of micromanagement to what I have experienced all through my years at even at ICSI or here. So this is a change management which helps us for the good. So it is based on you have to tell you see that is how that's the role of managers per se, how to convince their employees or not convince, probably get them into the same boat as ours. So why this is needed, so when you convey the why part, I think all this will go away.
yeah. True. And with this, I think there are still some questions, Aparna, but I think we've reached the time limit. We will definitely address these through email. And thank you very much, Aparna. You've been most patient and you've answered some of them repeated multiple times, your answers. But thank you for that clarity. excellently explained. No one could be a better champion of OKR and profit at this point. Thank you for that, and lovely. And I thank all the audience for joining us today and staying with us till the end of the webinar. I'm sure you found this useful. Thank you once again from Profit.co to everybody.
Thank you everyone, and thanks Prophet for having me over. And it's been good answering questions. You yourself, your brain is tickled to the next level. So yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.